So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to make a longer box than I normally do, because this is kind of like a letterbox. A long letterbox is just a way that movies kind of come sometimes. So it's not a square, and it's not like just a regular screen rectangle. It's a lot longer. Now, one thing that's happening in this picture is something we've talked about before. So there is a horizon kind of going off in the background like this, but the point is not here inside of the rectangle. The point is over here somewhere. I'm just going to say it's like right there. So then everything kind of comes out from that point. So you've got like perspective lines out the wazoo, kind of doing like, especially for the floor. The floor has kind of got this little thing happening like that. So you got these little kind of checkerboard things, like somebody's playing checkers on the floor. All right. Now, right about here is where we're going to put, what's his character's name? Rindy. Okay. So we're going to put Rindy. We're going to put Rindy right here. And behind him, which is kind of cool, there is a piece of the wall that kind of frames him. So he's inside of that frame, and then we've got, actually, I'm going to do one more directional line up this way. So you can do these lines with a ruler if you want to, all these lines that I'm drawing. Inside here, we've got the bathtub. So I'm just going to draw that, a line up, kind of like the letter L, a little L shape right here. And check this out. You can use the same little point. Can you see this point over here? You can do the same thing with the point over here, and I'll even show you. I'll take a ruler, and because we've got a, see, you can tell my line's not that straight. It's a good thing I should use this ruler. Okay, so we got a line there. Keep the ruler on the point. Got another line, another line, another line. I'm trying to make these lines kind of the same distance apart. And they're all coming from that point in the back. The reason I'm kind of doing this background now is because it's harder to see what's going on once I draw this guy, this raccoon, or is he a raccoon? Looks like a raccoon. Okay. So this is another checkerboard kind of thing. So this is the back of the bathtub, and then over here you can take all these lines and now you can make them flat, so they're parallel. See, this is your rectangle for the border of your picture. So all these lines are going to be flat instead of coming from the point, if that makes any sense. So what I'm doing now is just kind of connecting those so they look like they're all coming from the same, the side of this wall here in the bathtub, if that makes any sense. And then all I'm going to do in the background, I'm not going to use a ruler this time. I'm just going to draw these lines and try to make it look like they're evenly spaced. So that's your bathtub. Again, I'm drawing in red, so this is kind of just real light, sketchy lines with your pencil, so you don't have to do anything super dark. What I'm doing now is just doing that little shape, which is a pretty simple shape for the faucet. And if it's confusing because it's on the grid or the checkerboard, that's what it looks like. It's just kind of like a little sideways L shape. And for the other parts of the faucet, you've basically got a little cylinder like we've done before. Two of them actually. Just kind of, so we're going to basically put all of this down there. So I'll do the back one first. since that's behind the other one. So there's one, and then there's another one. All right, so that's enough for the background. What I want to do now is kind of get, which should I do first? The raccoon or the toilet?
The raccoon.
All right.
You should do RIGBY first.
Should do what first?
RIGBY,
that's his name. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so with RIGBY is, the reason I drew this little curvy line is because his body is kind of curved a little bit. His nose is like right up here, and where his legs start is right there. So I'm just going to kind of draw a little rectangle shape, and then right about here I'm going to make it come up to his nose. And then over here, come down from his nose, and go down to his feet like that. This little area right here is going to be covered up by his eye, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to draw his eye here, his other eye here. You're pretty good at drawing circles, so I'm not going to explain what's going on here too much. Inside of those circles, though, he's got these little curved, squinty eyes like that, like almost like the sliver of a moon. I'm drawing them up here just so you can see them a little bit better. And it's all, you almost can't tell that he's got a pupil in his eye, but he does. There's two little dark spots there, so I'm going to make them here, here, and then on either side of his eyes, I'm going to make these little droopy ears coming down. And I'm not going to worry about doing anything on the inside. If you want, you could do just like a little N shape or squiggly shape. And right under here, we were talking about emotion earlier. He's definitely got a look on his face like, man, I'd rather be doing something else besides cleaning this toilet. So we got this little frowny face. And on either side of the frowny face, we've got another kind of half circle similar to the frowny face. And up above and below, we've got a repeat of those lines. So once again, frowny, two more little shapes that are similar to the frown, just pointing different directions, and then above and below, or below and above. Now, his legs kind of do the same kind of swirly shape that his body does, kind of like, curving a little bit this way. So we've got one leg going that way, and the other one echoes that same shape. I'm going to make this one that's closer to you a little bit longer than I did. And his feet are really easy. Check this out. You just come out and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then come back up to his body. Same thing here. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then come back to his body. And that's his leg. Now, for some reason, I think he's supposed to be cut out with scissors because he's got little dashed lines all over the place. He's got dash, 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 dash. I'll let you do all those dashed lines later because that's not as important as getting his arms in the right spot. So we don't run out of time. I want to keep going with his arm. So his arm is basically just woo, swish. It's kind of like a little, it's almost straight, but it dips just a little bit. And then on the end of it, kind of similar to his feet, we've got the same amount of fingers, but they've got a little rounded part on the front, like that. So 1, 2, 3 fingers. And then you can just basically echo that same shape on his arm, on the top or the bottom, wherever you decided to put his fingers, you'll have to connect it that way. His other arm on the other side. Now here's something important. So what I like to do, instead of drawing the entire broom, I'm going to do like I did with his body. I'm just going to draw a line that indicates where the broom is. Okay? It's kind of like a little diagonal line. And that way you have a guide to where you can put the other hand. So his arm is going to come down, and then swing back up like that. And it's actually going to stop, I'm going to say right there at the bottom of the broom. So what we need to do then is actually draw the rest of the broom by just echoing that line. Come down, go up, and this is the tricky part because you got a thumb, not just 3 fingers, but you also have a thumb. So you go up, down, and then back up. Kind of like this. If you can't see it because it's a lot of red lines there, it's like this. Up, down, and then back up and stop. And that's how you get his thumb. The other fingers are really easy because all you have to do is just draw these little sausage shapes. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to scoot over to his tail. His tail kind of does a little bit of the same thing as the rest of the limbs on his body. Kind of comes up, goes up, curves around, and then connects back to his body. I probably made it a little bit too thin down here at the bottom. So because we're drawing lightly, remember, the red pen represents lightly drawing. I can go back in there and fix it. And here's a cool thing that we've gone over before. Just like we went over the perspective lines before, we've gone over taking something and drawing curved lines to make it look like it's 3-dimensional. So his tail has all these little places in it like that are kind of curved, and they help to make his tail look like it's curved instead of just flat. So there's no correct number of little stripes. You can do as many as you want or as few as you want. I'm trying to draw the ones that I see in the picture, so that's what I see. Now, I'm going to do a little dark outline around his eyes, just so they poke out a little bit more. And I'm also going to draw this line, which indicates where he's got like all these little dashed little areas, and it's actually dark brown over there. I'm going to come back over and over here. And that's kind of his arm over here is also brown, so I'm going to do those little dashed lines just like it is in the picture. And on his legs. I said I wasn't going to do that, but I did it anyway. I'm going to make his nose just a little bit bigger and fill it in. All right. So now on to the toilet. So I've never said that in a drawing lesson. So before I draw it here in the picture, I'm going to show you down here again. We've got kind of this cylinder shape that we're using. Okay, it's not exactly like that because it's round on the bottom as well as round on the top. But this is kind of the basic shape we're using. And then what we do to it, if you can you see right here in that part of my picture?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to draw the same thing again on top. But on the bottom, instead of doing it flat and echoing that shape, I'm going to do, it's kind of like a bowl, like a cereal bowl. Although you don't want to eat cereal out of this bowl. Then I'm going to repeat smaller on the inside, that same shape I did on the top. And you can echo that shape again and again, and you kind of get what's going on with the top of the toilet. That's the part that the actual broom is inside of. Now here's a trick. So the toilet and the walls of the shower back here are all going straight up and down in your picture. They're sitting flat, even though you've got all these lines coming out here from this little dot for perspective. You've also got everything else, like him, like RIGBY. Remembered his name, yay! RIGBY is straight up and down, even though his body's curved a little bit. So the toilet's straight up and down too, and you'll notice this more when I keep drawing. So what we want to do, just like I drew it here, straight up and down, you want to draw your circle for the inside of the toilet, the top of the toilet, just like that. And then another circle inside of that, and this circle has to stop behind the broom, so it looks like it goes inside, see? Then you can do another circle on the outside like that. And then this little curved shape. I'm going to do one more because I'm looking at the picture and it looks like for some reason he's got one more little curved shape there. And then the bottom of the bowl. And I'm going to stop short here instead of connecting it because it actually has some other things that are happening. Okay? So down here, this is where we kind of think about our perspective again. If I draw a line, kind of an invisible line out here, that has to be the shape of the front of the toilet. So I'm going to do a rectangle like this, and then I'm going to make it three-dimensional, kind of like we've done here. I'll do another example over here. We've done things like this with squares, where we take a square, we draw another square, and we connect them at the corners to make it look three-dimensional. We're kind of doing that here with the bottom of the toilet. Then what we do, just like his body was curved like this, we curve another line like this, and that's the front of the toilet. And I can make another line back here, come up, connect those. And just so you see that again, over here, I'll do it again. We've got this happening. We're making it three-dimensional, like that. And then we're going whoop, whoop, connect those, whoop, connect those. And then the bottom of the toilet is right there. It's a little bit of a complicated shape, and it's totally cool if you don't get it the first time. That's why it's good to, be drawing lightly with pencil so you can erase it pretty easily. Now the back of the toilet's probably one of the easiest things we've drawn today because even though it uses these perspective lines, it's still just straight up and down. So similar to this cube shape, we're going to draw another shape here that's like a cube, but again, it's going to be like we've got this perspective line coming out here. We make another line going straight down. All the other lines that are not perspective lines are going straight up and down. We're going to make this line come back behind the toilet. And then we're going to come over here, make another line, and another line. And the top of the toilet is really cool because you can make these little curved lines there. That's the lid. I don't know if you've ever taken the lid off of a toilet before, but don't do it unless you ask permission because there's all kinds of gears and things inside of it that make it work, and you don't want to make it not work. For the handle, I'm just going to do a little frowny face with a circle on one side. The only thing we've got left here to do, well, we've got this wall thing behind him, but I want to finish the toilet. So we come back behind the toilet, and I actually did something wrong here. This line shouldn't come all the way up to the base of the bowl, but I can make it work. What I can do is just do a curved line that comes up into the base like that, and then another curved line that comes into the base there. And then that works. Now, behind him, we've got this little place in the wall where there's wallpaper. So I'm going to draw a straight line across, and then another straight line in this direction. And that indicates like this little line of wallpaper on the wall. In the picture you sent me, all of this here is darker than what's on top. All right, let's see here. And actually, I think the bathtub comes out straight, more straight like this. And so I'm going to draw more little lines down here and another little set of grids. You didn't know you gave me such a complicated drawing, did you? It's actually a cool drawing if you can do it. It's going to be like the first thing where you've combined a character, like other characters that we've worked on, and put that character into a three-dimensional space. So that's super duper cool. So I will be sure to post this video for you so you can see it, and I'm going to go ahead and finish it with the black marker in the video, okay? Let me see, one other thing, I got to make sure that, so that's where I made the bathtub a little bit higher. So let's see, I'm going to make that line come over here, and then this line come over here, and then this line goes back behind. Alright, I think we're good. There's all these little dashed lines that kind of indicate the amount of space there is between the background and what's closer to you and what's farther away from you.